watching this video in the future, this is my first live stream. I decided I'm gonna read one of my favorite books, Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark. But it's not dark, so I'm just gonna read the stories in it. Maybe I should go open my glasses. Hold on. Cool. Now I can read. And I just got my hair did. My mom cut it for me. But I straightened it because I like it plain. We're going to start with skipping all intros. First of all, but first story we're going to start with find a good one. We'll start with The Thing. This is the picture. Kind of creepy, not even gonna lie. Let's start. Ted Martin and Sam Miller were good friends. They spent a lot of time together. On this particular night, they were sitting on a fence near the post office, talking about one thing and another. There was a field of turnips across the road. Suddenly, they saw something crawl out of the field and stand up. It looked like a man, but in the dark, it was hard to tell for sure. Then it was gone. But soon it appeared again. It walked halfway across the road. Then it turned around and went back into the field. Then it came out a third time and started toward them. By now, Ted and Sam were scared, and they started running. When they finally stopped, they decided they were being foolish. They weren't sure what had scared them, so they decided to go back and get a better look. Pretty soon, they saw it, for it was coming to meet them. It was wearing black pants, a white shirt, and black suspenders. Sam said, "I'm going to try to touch it, then we'll know if it's real." He walked up to it and peered into its face. It had bright, penetrating eyes sunk deep in its head, like a skeleton. Ted took one look and screamed. And again, he and Sam ran. This time, the skeleton followed them. When they got to Ted's house, they stood in the doorway and watched it. Stayed out on the road for a while. Then it disappeared. A year later, Ted got sick and died. Toward the end, Sam sat up with him every night. The night Ted died, Sam said he looked just like the skeleton. That's fun. A letter from my 3rd grade teacher. Oh, that's lovely. I don't know why I'm reading these 2 hours before my bedtime. Let's just pray I don't have nightmares. The girl who stood on a grave. Some boys and girls were at a party one night. There was a graveyard down the street, and they were talking about how scary it was. "Don't ever stand on a grave after dark," one of the boys said. "The person inside will grab you. He'll put you under." "That's not true," one of the girls said. It's just a suggestion. It's just a superstition." "I'll give you $1 if you stand on a grave," said the boy. "A grave doesn't scare me," said the girl. "I'll do it right now." The boy handed her his knife. "Stick this knife in one of the graves," he said. "Then we'll know you were there." The graveyard was filled with shadows and was as quiet as death. "There's nothing to be scared of," the girl told herself, but she was scared anyways. She picked out a grave and stood on it. Then quickly she bent over and plunged the knife into the soil, and she started to leave. But she couldn't get away. Something was holding her back. She tried a second time to leave, but she couldn't move. She was filled with terror. "Something has got me!" she screamed, and she fell to the ground. When she didn't come back, the others went to look for her. They found her body sprawled out on the grave. Without realizing it, she had plunged the knife through her skirt and had pinned it to the ground. It was only the knife that had held her. She had died of pure fright. See, that's not even that bad. Trying to find a good one. "May I carry your basket?" Sam Lewis spent the evening playing chess at his friend's house. It was about midnight when they finished their game and he started home. Outside it was icy cold and as quiet as the grave. As he came around a turn in the road, he was surprised to see a woman walking ahead of him. She was carrying a basket covered with a white cloth. When he caught up to her, he looked to see who it was, but she was so bundled up against the cold, it was hard to see her face. "Good evening," Sam said. "What brings you out so late?" But she didn't answer. Then he said, "May I carry your basket?" She handed it to him. From under the cloth, a small voice said, "That's very nice of you." And that was followed by wild laughter. Sam was so startled that he dropped the basket and out rolled a woman's head. He looked at the head and he stared at the woman. "It's her head," he cried. And he started to run, and the woman and her head began to chase him. Soon the head caught up to him. It bounded into the air and sunk its teeth into his left leg. Sam screamed with pain and ran faster. But the woman and her head stayed right behind. Soon the head leaped in the air again and bit into his other leg. Then they were gone. The babysitter. It was 9 o'clock in the evening. Everybody was sitting on the couch in front of the TV. There were Richard, Brian, Jenny, and Doreen, the babysitter. The telephone rang. "Maybe it's your mother," said Doreen. She picked up the phone. Before she could say a word, a man laughed hysterically and hung up. "Some nut," said Doreen. "What did I miss?" At 9:30, the telephone rang again. Doreen answered it. It was the same man who had called before. "I'll be there soon," he said, and laughed, and he hung up. Who was Who was it? Who was it? Children asked. Some crazy person, Doreen said. About 10 o'clock, the phone rang again. Jenny got to it first. Hello? She said. It was the same man. 1 more hour, the voice said, and he laughed, then hung up. He said 1 more hour. What did he mean? Asked Jenny. Don't worry, said Doreen. Someone fooling around with us. I'm scared, said Jenny. About 10:30, the telephone rang once more. When Doreen picked it up, the man said, Pretty soon now, and he laughed. Why are you doing this? Doreen screamed, and he hung up. Was it the same guy again? Asked Brian. Yes, said Doreen. Doreen called the operator and complained. The operator told her to call back if it happened again. And she would... The operator told her to call back again if it happened again. She would try to trace the call. At 11 o'clock, the telephone rang again. Doreen answered it. Very soon now, the man said, and he laughed and hung up. Doreen called the operator. Almost at once, she called back. The person is calling from a telephone upstairs, she said. You better leave, I'll call the police. Just then, an upstairs door opened. A man they had never seen before started down the stairs toward them. As they ran from the house, he was smiling in a very strange way. A few minutes later, the police found him there and arrested him. Sorry for the background noises. It's my little brother Isaiah. He's currently 8, which means I'm 13. Woo! The Slithery D. The Slithery D, he came out of the sea. He ate all the others, but he didn't eat me. The Slithery D, he came out of the sea. He ate all the others, but he didn't eat Slurp. Now these are really scary. I'm just gonna tell scary stories of my own because those aren't scary enough. This was a story that we read in English class last year. I don't remember what it was called, but it was about I don't remember. I'll just tell you the story. So there's a girlfriend, or there's a girl, her little sister, and the older girl has a fiance, yeah. So he decides he's gonna watch his fiance's sister. So they start to hang out and it becomes the girl's bedtime. But as they're walking up the stairs, the little girl grabs his hand. We're gonna call the little girl Sally. And Sally grabs the fiance's hand. We're gonna name him Bill. So Sally, she grabs Bill's hand and she is like, can I show you something before bed? He said, it's already past your Bill said, it's already past your bedtime, Sally. Why don't we go to bed? Sally said, oh, please, it'll be quick. So Bill gave in and she led Bill into the attic. It was pitch black and it was freezing, but the only thing he could hear was rattling. Click, clack, click, clack, back and forth. And the worst part, there was also a breeze. But since he couldn't see anything, the only thing he could do was smell and hear. and feel. So she kept leading him through. She said, "You were never nice to my sister." Click, clack, click, clack. The sister came home and she saw her little sister sitting on the couch crying. Bill wasn't with her. Bill wasn't in any other rooms. The sister, Sally, led her sister up to the attic. The sister could hear the bones rattling. Click, clack, click, clack. Kind of creepy. Well, I'm going to try and find something. Okay, since it's kind of getting late, oh, it's not late yet. I'm going to read you my story, and I'll be right back. I'm just gonna play some music if it'll let me. Okay, that should work. Alright, so, mind you, I had to do this for school, but I enjoy writing. I love writing. Writing is what I do in my free time. But I decided that I wanted to share it with you guys. This would either be future me or anybody that ends up joining this live or anybody that ends up watching this video. Yes, I know I'm watching or wearing a Christmas shirt. But I just feel that it would be cool to share some of my ideas because by the time I graduate, I'm not going to be able to have these stories anymore, which is really, really sad. So, gotta sign into my email. But when I graduate, they take away my school email, and I won't be able to have it, which is really, really sad. And I don't think that's very cool. So I call this The Lady in the Woods. This is by me, Amanda Smith. So The Lady in the Woods by Amanda Smith. And I had to use flashback and something else. Flashback and foreshadowing. So there's some of that in there. I mind you, all of this happened around 10 years ago. I am to this day, still wondering how I made it. A little background information about me. My full name is Samantha Jasmine Guard, but everyone calls me Sam. I live alone in a 2-bedroom, 1-bathroom home. This home I live in, at the time, had a huge wooded area right down the road. I like to do YouTube videos of me exploring abandoned places and things. Right when I saw this woods by my future house for sale, I knew I had to move in. That's when it all started. I started putting my things into a U-Haul, and I got a call from my friend. She asked if I needed help moving in. I said I could use all the help I could get. So my friend Faith drove to my house, and we got done packing in half the time that I thought it would take. It's really sad to see it go, but I'm ready for new opportunities, I said. Then off we went. We listened to music on our way there, and before we knew it, we missed the darn turn, Faith said in a really rude tone. We turned around and finally found what is my new house. What is now my new house. I hop out of the U-Haul and immediately see something in the woods. Whatever it was looked an awful lot like my mother. She had passed away around a year or two before I had moved into my house. But how? I stuttered, very dazed, trying to figure out what that thing was. Is that your... I cut Faith off and said, "There's no way. She died over 2 years ago." Faith replied with, "Does your mom have a doppelganger or something?" I mean, I would hope not. That would be horrible to have to live through. Just seeing my mom's doppelganger in the woods next to my house, petrifying. I have a job interview in 2 hours. Maybe we should start unpacking so I can get going, Faith says as she starts to open the door to the U-Haul. Good idea. Wouldn't want to make you late. I now have a butt-ton of boxes in my new house. Along with being completely and utterly alone, I decided to do what I moved here for. To explore the woods, of course. I grab my phone and start recording. I wait for a few hundred people to join my live, which currently I have 0 on this live. Yeah. I wait for a few hundred people to join my live, and then I start my journey. I walk into the woods and see this really janky, crusty bin. Guess I'm dumpster diving today, I say in a sarcastic tone. I turn around because I heard crinkling leaves coming from inside the woods. It's my mom's freaky doppelganger again. I record this doppelganger, and I can see it through my screen, but the people watching say they only see black. Something is really messed up with whoever this is. "Hey, knock it off," I scream at whatever was in the woods. It turned around to face me. It looked just like my mom. Whatever it was turns around and runs off deep into the woods. I might as well see what's in this trash bin. I set down my phone, still recording, so the people on my live could see what I find. As I walk closer and closer, I start to smell something. It's a very familiar and warm smell, like home when I was little. Makes me want to just run and hug the trash bin. But it's not a real person. It's literal garbage. Are you guys seeing this? I say as I pull up a suitcase almost the same size as me. That's not adding up. It's the only thing in this darn bin, too. I take the suitcase, grab my phone, and start walking back home. By the time I get home, it's already dusk. I decide to put my phone back up and start to open the suitcase. Alright, this isn't funny anymore. Get off my window, you creep. It's that thing that looked like my mother's doppelganger, if you must. Only this time it had hair missing and cuts on its face. It had its hands right on the glass of my window. Just stood there staring at me, watching my every move. Get back! I grabbed the fireplace broom and hit the window just enough to scare it back into the woods. That was something. Those were the last words I had said that night, except for when night had turned into really early morning. The clock turned 1 a.m. and I still couldn't sleep. I had to know what was in that crusty old suitcase. I grabbed my phone and started recording again. grab the suitcase and start to open it completely. I finish opening the suitcase and there were one of two things inside. Number one, a yellow landline phone that looked like it needed to be in a museum. Number two, a photo. A yellow landline? I haven't seen one of these since I was like 3. That is kind of strange. My stupid self decided that it would be a good idea to plug it in to where the house phone would have gone. What's this? I picked up the photo that had ruined me that night. Oh, my picture from the fireplace of my mom must have fallen off into the suitcase. I go to put it back on my fireplace, but my actual copy is already there. What? I broke down in tears, bawling at the sight of the photo I thought had to be mine. That's when the phone rings. The phone rings. Middle of the night, my father yells, "What you gonna do with your life? Oh, Daddy, dear, you know you're still number one. But girls, they wanna have fun." My bad. Next paragraph. That phone rang. Sounded like some creepy ancient ice cream truck. I should put this in a museum. Actually. The phone keeps ringing, so I leave it be. I have seen way too many horror films for that to happen. There's no way in how I'm answering that phone. Have you seen horror films, guys? I unplug that phone to get a better look at it. But how? I thought, what? Huh? I couldn't get it out at the time, but that phone had my full legal name engraved on it. First part, it was engraved in my mom's handwriting. I called it a night, but that phone rang again. I wake up to go check it, or rather unplug it, but it's already unplugged. And unplugged it that night before I fell asleep. Forgot about that. I answered the phone, and someone that sounded creepily like my mom said, "Sammy, don't worry, it's just me outside, your mommy." And then they hang up. Toss the phone back outside, and then it happens. She bursts into my house. Just bursts into my house. She has some nerve to slam the door on her way in. "Who are you?" At this point, I don't know why, but I wasn't scared of her. Well, the lady in the woods. The girl answers, "I'm your mom, Sam. I never died, but I knew where you were going to move, so I followed you and your friend here." What? No. My mom died. I literally saw her at the casket at her funeral. You liar. Who in the world are you? Oh, I see. You're a smart one like your mom told me. Who are you? I'm not real silly. I mean, I am, but I'm not like you. What do you mean, not like me? I'm not human. I'm a different version of your mom. I was sent to try to bring you to us, but you were too smart. Where's my mom? Sam, I'm sorry. Sam? That was the last time I ever had to see that creepy lady in the woods. I had a normal life after that. I got married, had kids, and now my first grandchild is on her way. I became a detective to try and solve people's cases after they were passed. This is where I met my husband. He had solved my mom's case. He had found out that someone had killed her, and the night the lady came into my house, she had left a note right on my back that read, "If you were one tick dumber, you wouldn't be here." We demolished the woods and rebuilt our home completely far away from the woods. We never ended up confirming that it was the lady, but we found a doppelganger of my mom. We could have assumed it was my mom's doppelganger because of the chunks of hair missing. As I lay there helplessly on the floor, crying because of all the papers from my mom's solved case, I look down at the floor of my old house. And the phone rings. Oh. Sorry, I'm scaring myself. But yeah, that's The Lady in the Woods. I wrote a different version myself, but I decided I wanted to switch it up a little bit and then turn it into this. So, I also did a haunted trail with, also for English, with, like special effects in it. Not like special effects, like sensory words and details. So, this was this haunted trail that I created. You walk into the trail and a big door shuts, turning everything pitch black. You start to follow your instincts and choose the right trail while your friend goes through the left trail. As you start to walk along the eerie pathway, you start to smell the scent of evergreen trees. On the other side of the trail, the left side, your friend can hear the loud crunch of the leaves below her. The crunch between the ground and her feet is almost frightening because of the fact it is so loud. On your side of the trail, the nice tree smell starts to stop, but something else starts. You walk straight ahead into a large portion of sticky, nasty spider webs. By the time you exit the spider webs, you hear your friend shriek in terror. On your friend's trail, she can hear deep breathing. She told you afterwards that she could even feel the hot breaths on the back of her neck. Your trails meet up as you enter the horror zone. Your mind starts to replay what the guide said at the beginning of the trail right before he shut the big door. He said, "Most people chicken out of the horror zone because of how loud it is." By the time you try to replay the whole thing, though, you start to hear exactly what he was talking about. You and your friends stay close together as the ear-splitting screams get louder and louder and suddenly stop. Everything goes completely silent and still. That was the most terrifying part, not even knowing what made everything stop. Then you check back in with reality and find yourself at a series of 4 different doors. You walk up to the first door and you can smell the thick smoke of a fire. The next door you don't even bother to get close to because you can hear, quite obviously hear, a sound of snakes hissing. The third door has nothing strange at all. Nothing but peace, that is. You decide to check the fourth door before just opening the third door. When you touch the handle, boom! Your hand becomes freezing cold within the instant second you put your hand on the handle for. You and your friend are brave enough to open up the third door. You both walk down the hall and start walking toward a light. The closer you get, the brighter it glows. You guys finally made it out of there. I don't think I have any other scary stories. If you guys end up seeing this, let me know. And if you want more scary stories, I just wanted to show you real quick, because I'm gonna watch this when I'm older. Just memories. And I feel it'll be really, really nice for me to just have some different stuff rather than just taking pictures and stuff. But, currently, I'm really happy because I have 100% in English, 94 or 96 in science. Oh, this is the year I transitioned from honors English to regular English, and then next year I'm going back to honors English. So we're good. Science, I have a 96 this quarter, but a 94 overall. I have a B minus in social studies, a B in math. Good job, Amaya. 100 in band, a B or 98 in ag science. Well, and then choir,
I have 106 this quarter, and I have a 104 overall. So, I didn't get anybody actually live on this live, which is really sad because it's my first live. But, yeah, I'm gonna call it a night. And if you guys end up seeing this, watching all the way through, thank you so much. And like I said earlier, I'm gonna have a surprise. Just kidding. No surprises. Unless you actually watch my next live and you comment on my video and say that you watched this one. But other than that, I don't really have anything for today. Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark is retold / written by Alvin Schwartz, and the drawings that I showed were by Stephen Gamble. If you don't want to buy it, or if I don't have it when I'm owner, I'm gonna rebuy it. But yeah, I think that's all. Oh yeah, and I have school tomorrow, so I don't know if I'm gonna be doing a live, but I'll for sure do one YouTube short at least. Bye guys.